and we'll be good to go. Well, there's a couple ways you could do that. One, and the most practical, would be to use the mirror tool, not to be confused with the mirror modifier. The mirror tool you can find from the mesh menu under vertices, I do believe. No, mirror right here. And you can see X global or X local. In this case, these will do the same thing, so we're going to choose X global. Now this has a problem though, and that is it's mirrored around the mesh itself. So that actually doesn't help us. So what we want to do is use our 3D cursor right here as the pivot point. In order to do this, we're going to use the scaling tool. And this is a handy little trick. It's maybe not the most intuitive, but we're just going to hit S to scale and then -1 to flip it around. So we've just flipped it by scaling inverse. Now, this has done the same thing as the mirror tool. Well, that's no good, because what we want to do is we want to change our pivot point. And this is something that you'll start to work with a lot in a lot of different tools if you haven't already, and that is to change the pivot point from the default bounding box center to 3D cursor. Now let's try the scale again. So I hit S, -1, and it just aligns in the center. Well, that's frustrating again. And by the way, I am intentionally showing you all of these pitfalls because invariably most of you will run into this. So let's undo that once more. And the reason that it just aligned with the center is because we have clipping enabled. And if you remember with clipping, if I just grab this to the center, they all lock. And that includes when doing scales and such. So we just need to momentarily disable clipping, S, -1, enter, and we're good to go. So now I can read